You've been there. Someone says something that cuts you. A message arrives, a situation spirals, and before your mind has fully registered what happened, you've already reacted. Then comes that sinking feeling. The words you can't take back. The message you wish you hadn't sent. The look on someone's face. That feeling isn't guilt. It's the recognition that someone else pressed a button and your body ran its program. Without you. Here is the question that has occupied philosophers, scientists, and contemplatives for thousands of years. What lives in the space between what happens to you and what you do next? The answer is everything. A man born into slavery in the 1st century CE understood this before almost anyone else put it into words. His name was Epictetus, born in what is now southwestern Turkey around 50 CE, owned, physically, by a Roman master, permitted to study philosophy. And through that study, he arrived at something 2,000 years of subsequent thought has not improved upon. Some things are within our power, others are not. What falls within your power? Not events, not other people, not what they say or do or intend. Only one thing. Your response. And inside that response, if you are willing to find it, lives a space. The pause. 17 centuries later, a Viennese psychiatrist was stripped of everything. His name, his clothes, his family, his work. Viktor Frankl arrived at Auschwitz in October 1944 as prisoner number 119,104. What he observed in the camps confirmed what the Stoics had mapped before him. Even in conditions designed to extinguish every last trace of human agency, something survived. Something the guards could not reach. The capacity to choose how to respond. Frankl wrote that between stimulus and response, there lives a space, and in that space lies human freedom. Not freedom from circumstances, freedom within them. Now, here is what actually happens in your nervous system when someone provokes you. Your amygdala, your threat detection center, fires in roughly 80 to 100 milliseconds. Before you've consciously registered a single word, your body is already mobilizing. Heart rate rises, muscles tighten, cortisol moves through your system. Your prefrontal cortex, responsible for evaluation, reasoning, and choice, needs slightly longer. 200 to 500 milliseconds to fully engage. And in that gap, the automatic response runs. 2 seconds. That is all that separates a reaction from a response. Not 2 years of therapy. 2 conscious seconds in which your higher cognitive function catches up with your alarm system and is allowed to make the actual decision. This is measurable, repeatable neuroscience. And it confirms what Epictetus and Frankl and every serious contemplative tradition arrived at through direct observation. The pause is real, it is available, and it changes everything downstream. The Taoists called it Wu Wei, translated imprecisely as non-action. But Wu Wei is not passivity. Watch a skilled calligrapher before the brush touches paper. Watch water approaching stone. There is a moment of gathering before the act. That stillness is not empty. It is full of information, orientation, discernment. What follows is clean. This convergence, Stoic, existentialist, neuroscientific, Taoist, is not coincidence. These traditions developed on opposite sides of the world across thousands of years, and they all found the same gap, the same 2 seconds. Here is the deception your nervous system runs on you. Reaction feels faster, more honest, more real. If you pause, you might seem weak. If you pause, you'll lose. None of that is true. Reaction gives you the illusion of control through speed. The pause gives you actual control through choice. These are not the same thing. They produce entirely different outcomes. Research shows that people who introduce a deliberate pause before significant responses are perceived as more confident and more trustworthy than those who respond immediately. The pause doesn't make you appear uncertain. It makes you appear considered. So how does this capacity get built? Through practice so small you could easily dismiss it. Repeated until it becomes the structure of how you move through the world. 3 micro-pauses today. That is the beginning. Before you open your email in the morning, take 1 breath. Who are you before the demands begin? Before you answer a question you feel reactive to, wait 1 conscious beat. Not avoidance, gathering. Before you send any message written in frustration, read it once more as if you are the recipient. Then choose. Each one is a small act of reclamation. Each one rebuilds the circuit between event and response. And then there is the practice itself, the 2-breath response. The next time you feel provoked, and you will today, perhaps within the hour, take 2 conscious breaths before you respond. On the first breath, notice. What is actually happening here? What do you actually feel? Not what you fear, not what you assume, but what is actually present. On the second breath, choose. What response serves this moment? Not your history, not your ego. This moment, this person, this situation. Ancient and modern wisdom converges here completely. The 2-breath pause is not delay. It is not weakness. It is the difference between a reaction you'll spend 3 days regretting and a response you'll stand behind. This is what serious, systematic practice builds. Not a collection of ideas, but a transformation in how the nervous system itself operates. Mind and body and philosophical understanding woven together, not self-help. Something older and more demanding and more complete. If that calls to you, visit maaoot.org. Carry this with you today. If you paused for 2 conscious seconds before every significant response from this moment forward, who would you be by the end of the week?